Hello there. With Frontier recently confirming that the majority of the cut species will be returning for Evolution 3 at some point down the line, and the recent confirmation and new look at the Deinonychus redesign that we got, I think it's the best time to talk about the 5 species that I think A should and B could possibly get some redesigns as an alternate variant. Without wasting too much more time, I'm going to jump straight into the first species that I'm going to talk about today, Amargasaurus. Now don't get me wrong. Amargasaurus has one of my favourite designs from Evolution 2. I absolutely love the way that it's designed, all of it. But it's not really 100% paleo accurate to the news that we have available. Roughly around the same time that Jurassic World Evolution 2 was coming out, there was a couple of breakthroughs in Amargasaurus and its reconstructions, pointing more so that its spines likely connected a bunch of ligaments to support a sail as opposed to the spikes. Now this is not on Frontier. As of the time that they were likely designing Amargasaurus, I believe the current consensus was still up to debate, but it may have been leading towards spikes at the time. But now we know most of the evidence is against, or is for, the sail. And there's still some changes that could be made to Amargasaurus to just make it look a little bit more paleo accurate and a little bit less cartoonified, in my opinion. I feel like it's one of the strongest candidates of this list that I have that could potentially come back with a new and improved design. Again, not changing the old design, but keeping the old design, and like Deinonychus, getting a second variant that we could use as just extra coolness. Because, well, like I said, I do like the Amargasaurus design, just with what I've got up screen, it just could use some improvements. The sail, some of the proportions as well are a bit off. I'm looking at some of the legs and that, and it's a bit chubby. Again, no problems with it, just could use some improvements. And that's why I'm picking it first. Now this second dinosaur is one that the community has been a little bit more vocal about. I personally don't have a problem with it, but I know a lot of people aren't a fan of the Carcharodontosaurus design that we have in game. Again, I like it. I don't think there's a problem with it. I don't really have any problems with any of the designs of any of the evolution dinosaurs that I can think of. Apart from one later on in this list, but we'll get to that when we do. Now, Carcharodontosaurus has been a talking point for basically since its addition to the game in Evolution 1 with the, I want to say, Cretaceous Predator pack? No, just Cretaceous pack. Just the Cretaceous pack. I want to say that, but I could be wrong. And it's been quite controversial for not looking like a Carcharodontosaurus. Now, it looks a lot like Giganotosaurus, and that's because it was a Giganotosaurid. If I got that wrong as well. Yeah, so I looked it up. I would like to humbly apologize to every member of the Jurassic community that I have offended with that, because, oh my, that is poor paleo news on my part. Carcharodontosaurus was not a Giganotosaurid. It was a Carcharodontosaurid. And yeah, I apologize. I severely apologize. There's just a couple of small things that could be changed. The snout, we could get some brow ridges, which the old one I think has, but it's not very emphasized. Brow ridges, a little bit less spikes, overall beefy body, and that would be ideal. You know, new pattern, etc., all that other stuff. Not really too much I want to talk about with this one, but just thought I'd give it a mention because I think it could use an update. So, if you've clicked on this video, there is without a doubt in my mind that one thing you were hoping I was going to talk about is Liopleurodon. Liopleurodon is, without a doubt, probably the most controversial design in the Jurassic Evolution series. Because it's just so wrong and on so many levels. Now, again, I do dislike it. I don't actually like it that much. I think it's a cool design, but for a Jurassic franchise, I think it's a cool design. As to represent a Liopleurodon, I do not like it. That's what I will say. Someone took a crocodile and gave it flippers. This is as close as we got to Crocs, and hopefully not as close as we'll ever get to Crocs. But it looks like someone took a crocodile and slapped some flippers on it, pulled out its snout, made it a bit bigger, and said, Liopleurodon. No. Liopleurodon had smooth skin. This is another problem with Mosasaur that hopefully gets fixed in the Rebirth DLC that hopefully comes. But I'm getting sidetracked. This needs, out of everything on this list, Liopleurodon needs a second variant the most. It was second to Deinonychus. Deinonychus was first, this is second. Because it's atrocious. To represent a Liopleurodon, I'll be honest, it's atrocious. It's an atrocious design. There are so many better designs out there, like the several that I've probably had on screen since I've been rambling. And I love Liopleurodon. And it's weird that we had to wait until Carcharodontosaurus to get something that looked like Liopleurodon, because if we're going to be honest, Carcharodontosaurus looks more like Liopleurodon than Liopleurodon does. I've said Liopleurodon a lot. I just think that this stunning marine reptile needs the love, and the love that it deserves, because we already have several, well, we don't really, but I feel like with the recent quality that we're getting, especially out of the DLCs and for the aquatics, it does not hold up. Liopleurodon does not hold up. And I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that we get crocodiles properly in the game, Deinosuchus, Lycosuchus, which would then make Frontier go, okay, we don't need this thing to look like a crocodile, we can give it a revamp, which I hope we do see when it returns. Now let's get the other one out of the way. Elasmosaurus, it's your turn. Elasmosaurus. What on it, just what is the Frontier design? What is it? What is it? Seriously, what is it? Why does it look like that? What is wrong with its face? Why does it look like someone shoved porcupine spines in it until it screamed for help? No, I don't like it. I'm usually very positive. I usually try to be very positive. But when I have something like that in front of me, no. No. Not when you have beautiful plesiosaurs and elasmosaurs out there that it could look like. So, no. Change it, please. I love my long-necked marine reptiles. I think they're gorgeous. They are stunning. They are some of the most beautiful creatures to ever have ever lived on Earth. And they need to be done justice. Fix it, Frontier. Please. So with that out the way, let's talk about my final one. This is... I have no idea what I'm doing. By not looking at any of the DLC and just looking at the base game, Evolution 2 Species Returning, because that's what Frontier's confirmed, I struggled. I was literally looking through every dinosaur, flicking, like, okay, what, trying to find something that looked inaccurate. But I don't think any of the other designs really need a revamp, apart from the 4 that I've mentioned. I like the other designs. I think they're fairly paleo accurate. I don't have any problems with them that can't be contributed down to just personal interpretation. So I've picked something that is more or less wrong about one of the dinosaurs. Carcharodontosaurus is an ankylosaurid, and ankylosaurids didn't have those weird bony segments, like those that extra look of armor. They didn't have what looks like shields on their back, or at least something like Carcharodontosaurus didn't. And this is going to be really short. There's not too much to talk about. I think removing that is all that needs to happen, and I don't think that's enough for a revamp. So I'm kind of just putting Carcharodontosaurus here because I needed something to fill 5, because you can't do 4, because 5 sounds better and it gets more views. So, there's Carcharodontosaurus and my improvements for it. There's not much. But with that, those are my 5 picks for dinosaurs that, like Deinonychus, I think should get an alternate variant / redesign for Jurassic World Evolution 3. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I'll see you all in the next one.